everyone. Welcome back to the Seeds of Success podcast, where we focus on simple, practical ideas that help you grow, whether you're running a business, leading a team, or just trying to get a little better every day. I'm Orly, and as always, we have the awesome Dottie with us. Dottie, how are you doing?
Hi, Orly. I'm good. Hi, listeners.
And today we're talking about something that sounds small, but it has a massive impact over time. The 1% rule. Because success usually isn't built on one big moment. It's built on small, consistent improvements.
This is such an important topic, Orly, especially in environments like bowling and entertainment centers, because it's easy to think growth comes from these big investments, new attractions, major renovations, big campaigns.
Yeah, but in reality, a lot of your success just comes from little things happening every single day.
Exactly. The way your staff treats guests, or how quickly a lane issue is handled, how clean the space feels. These small moments add up to the overall experience.
So let's break this down. The 1% rule is the idea that improving just a little bit consistently compounds over time.
And the key word here is consistency. Because one small improvement might not feel like much today, but over weeks, months, and years, it creates a completely different outcome.
Yeah, and this applies to every business, not just entertainment. It could be, a slightly faster response time, a clearer communication, a more welcoming first impression. Let's make this tangible. What are some 1% improvements in a bowling or entertainment center?
Oh, I love this. Here's a few. Tightening up the check-in so guests aren't waiting as long.
Yeah.
Or training staff to use names or personalized interactions. I know we've mentioned that before on our podcast. Making signage clearer so guests don't feel lost. Where's the restroom? Following up after events or parties.
Yeah, those are great because none of them require a major investment, but they do improve the overall experience.
And that's the point. Guests may not notice one small improvement, but they definitely notice how everything, feels together.
Yeah. Here's something interesting. Big changes are exciting, but they're harder to sustain.
Exactly. They take time, budget, and coordination. But small improvements, they're easier to implement, they're easier to repeat, and easier to refine.
Yeah, and they often impact more touch points. A better greeting, a faster response, or a smoother booking process, that affects every single customer. And, Dottie, going back just a second, we talked about remembering the name, and we did a podcast specifically on that. But, I've had that happen just recently where we went somewhere where I had asked some questions online to this company. And when we actually walked in the place, they were like, "Hey, Orly, how's it going?" And I think they just recognized me from, my Facebook profile picture. And it throws you off, like in a good way, though. I told my wife, I was like, she's like, "How do they know your name?" I was like, "I guess I'm going to ask those questions." But it just kind of really makes you feel good. And it, like I said, it kind of throws you back in a good way. You're like, "Oh, wow, they know my name." Like, how? But that's cool.
Yes, we all like to hear our names, right?
Exactly. So how do you find your 1%? Where should people start?
Well, it's really quite easy. Start by looking at your business or even your personal workflow through the customer's eyes and ask, where is the friction, the confusion, or the delay?
Yeah, I love that. And you don't need a full audit. Just pick one area.
Exactly. One small change could be something like responding to inquiries 1 hour faster or simplifying your booking steps. Take out one step. That makes a big difference. Or updating one outdated message or sign.
Or even something personal like blocking 10 minutes a day to follow up on a plan ahead. The real power comes when this becomes a habit. When you're constantly asking, what's one thing I can improve today?
Absolutely. And not overcomplicating it, because the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Small, repeatable progress.
All right, so I have another challenge for you. Identify one small improvement you can make today, just one.
And then commit to it. Test it, repeat it, and build from there. Because those small changes are what create momentum.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, success isn't about doing everything all at once. It's about doing the right small things consistently. In businesses like bowling and entertainment center, it's those everyday moments that shape the guest experience, make it memorable. And in any business, those small improvements build trust, efficiency, and long-term growth. So don't wait for the big change. Start with that 1%, because over time, that's what creates the biggest impact. Listeners, thanks so much for joining us today on Seeds of Success. If this episode gave you a new perspective, share it with your team and start building those small wins today. And until next time, keep growing your business, one happy customer and one amazing experience at a time.